Most people agree that Charlie Chaplin is the finest comedy actor in movie history. He is also regarded as one of the most important cultural icons of the 20th century because of his role as the Tramp on cinema, which helped him become a global symbol. But underneath the comic exterior, Chaplin had a more sinister side that many people who knew him well regarded as heartless, exploitational, and sadistic. The comedian also received criticism for his predatory practice of serial womanizing, which bordered on criminal. Charlie Chaplin gained a reputation as a frequently tyrannical and self-obsessed person, a man who encompassed adulation and controversy in equal measure, due to his notoriously high standards as a filmmaker and a troubling propensity for hurting those he claimed to love. What exactly about his personal life was so disturbing? Let's go and investigate Charlie Chaplin's checkered past to get the truth. Birth of a comic genius. Charles Spencer Chaplin Jr. was born in London, England, on April 16, 1889. Charles Chaplin Sr. His father, Charles Chaplin Sr., was an English music hall entertainer and a chronic alcoholic. Hannah Chaplin. Hannah Chaplin, Charlie's mother, also performed in music hall, as an actress, singer, and dancer. Early childhood. Chaplin's childhood in London was one of poverty and hardship. His parents separated in 1891 when he was 2 years old, after which he rarely saw his father. By the age of 9, Chaplin and his elder half-brother Sidney had twice been admitted to a workhouse. His mother, meanwhile, was eventually committed to a mental institution. The young Chaplin is pictured third row from front, third from left at age 7 with fellow pupils at the Central London District Poor Law School. Early life. It was an ominous start to life for the youngster. By age 13, he'd abandoned his education to follow a career in show business. He's seen here between ages 14 to 16, appearing as Billy the Pageboy in the play, Sherlock Holmes. Arrival in America. In 1913, Chaplin toured the United States as part of Fred Karno's prestigious vaudeville company. One of the young comedian's co-stars was Arthur Stanley Jefferson, later better known as Stan Laurel of Laurel and Hardy fame. Making a living. 1914. During a second tour of America, Chaplin was invited to join the New York Motion Picture Company. He made his first film appearance in 1914 in the one-reel comedy short, Making a Living. Screen debut of the Tramp. Chaplin's trademark character, the Tramp, made his screen debut the same year, 1914, in Kid Auto Races at Venice. Worldwide fame. By the age of 26, Charlie Chaplin was one of the most famous people in the world, recognized everywhere for his tramp persona, and earning a staggering $670,000 United States dollars a year. That's the equivalent today of around $16.5 million. Celebrity status. Enjoying his global fame and fabulous wealth, Chaplin moved in high society on both sides of the Atlantic. He indulged in expensive hobbies and took full advantage of his celebrity status. First wife. Chaplin's first wife was actress Mildred Harris. She was 16, he was 26. They married in 1918 but divorced, acrimoniously, in 1920. The couple had a child, but he died 3 days after birth. In papers, the teenaged Harris cited mental cruelty as her reason for the split. Chaplin, meanwhile, accused her of infidelity and complained she was not his intellectual equal. Second wife. Chaplin first met Lita McMurray when she was 8 years old. Aged 12, she appeared as a flirting angel in his film, The Kid. 3 years later, she was cast in his picture, The Gold Rush, and began an affair with the then 35-year-old Chaplin. Scandal looms. McMurray, still a minor, quickly became pregnant by Chaplin. To avoid a scandal, the couple married secretly in November 1924 and she started using the name Lita Gray. But the union was troubled from the start. Dreadful treatment. Despite having 2 children together, separation was inevitable. In her divorce proceedings, Gray accused Chaplin of forcing her to undergo an illegal operation to prevent the birth of their first child. Documents made public during the hearing outlined Chaplin's alleged affairs with numerous other women. Furthermore, his revolting and inhumane treatment of her was described in detail. Gray is pictured with the couple's 2 sons, Charles Chaplin Jr. and Sidney Chaplin. Sensational divorce. The divorce became a sensational media event, with both appearing in court to argue their case. Chaplin was eventually ordered to pay over $700,000 United States dollars, approximately $10 million in today's money, to his former wife. The proceedings left Chaplin close to a nervous breakdown as calls for his films to be banned grew louder. Lonely and restless. But Chaplin actually emerged from the scandal relatively unscathed and triumphed in 1931 with City Lights, regarded as one of the best American films ever made. Its success proved something of an anticlimax for the comedian, however, who admitted to feeling lonely and somewhat restless. Then he met Paulette Goddard. A passion for Paulette Goddard. In a demonstration perhaps that Chaplin had matured emotionally, he'd set his eyes on a woman who was in her 20s. In fact, Paulette Goddard was 22 when she met Chaplin, in 1932. He was over 20 years older. The relationship received substantial attention in the Hollywood press. Modern Times, 1936. Goddard went on to appear as her husband's leading lady in 1936's Modern Times, Pictured, and The Great Dictator, 1940. They married in 1936 and had no children. Goddard filed for divorce in 1942, though it was never clear whether the couple had ever tied the knot in the first place. The Joan Barry Affair. After his split from Goddard, more brief flings with various starlets followed, including an affair with Joan Barry, Pictured, which resulted in 2 terminated pregnancies and a paternity suit filed against the then 54-year-old, after he denied fathering Barry's child, Carol Ann. He lost the case, violating the Mann Act. More damaging was the fallout from the Joan Barry affair. J. Edgar Hoover, who had long been suspicious of Chaplin's political leanings, used the opportunity to generate negative publicity about him. The FBI chief embarked on a smear campaign to besmirch Chaplin's character by alleging the comedian had violated the Mann Act, which prohibits the transportation of women across state boundaries for sexual purposes. Chaplin, seen here with his attorney Jerry Giesler during the trial, was eventually acquitted, but not before the press had compared the scandal with that of the sensational Fatty Arbuckle murder trial in 1921. Fourth wife. In 1943, Chaplin stepped out with Una O'Neill, the 18-year-old daughter of Irish-American playwright Eugene O'Neill. Chaplin was in his mid-50s. Perfect love. In his autobiography, Chaplin described meeting O'Neill as the happiest event of my life, and claimed to have found perfect love. Exile. The couple remained married until Chaplin's death, and had 8 children over 18 years. The pair are seen with 4 of their offspring sailing to England on board RMS Queen Elizabeth in 1952. It proved to be a voyage of no return. Blacklisted. In Monsieur Verdoux, 1947, Chaplin took a swipe at capitalism. He also criticized the war industry. A critical and commercial flop in the United States, the film fared better in Europe. In America, however, Chaplin was accused of being a communist, and the FBI launched an investigation against him. Limelight, 1952. The autobiographical Limelight alluded not only to Chaplin's miserable childhood and the lives of his parents, but also to his loss of popularity in the United States. Co-starring Claire Bloom and featuring an appearance by Buster Keaton, the only time the 2 silent movie legends worked together, the picture required Chaplin to promote the release abroad. After sailing to England, he learned that his re-entry visa to the United States had been revoked. Moved to Switzerland. Effectively banned from the country, a bewildered Charlie Chaplin turned his back on the United States and in January 1953 settled with his family at Manoir de Ban, an expansive estate overlooking Lake Geneva in Corsair-sur-Vevey. A King in New York, 1954. Chaplin remained a controversial figure throughout the 1950s. His 1954 picture, A King in New York, a political satire, attacked elements of 1950s culture, including consumerism, plastic surgery, and widescreen cinema. It was not shown in America until 1973. Authoritarian style. As a filmmaker, Charlie Chaplin was notorious for his exacting standards, insisting on take after take to achieve the perfect scene. While making A Countess from Hong Kong, in 1967, he even managed to inflame Marlon Brando, who later expressed dismay at Chaplin's didactic style of direction and his authoritarian approach. Chaplin made a cameo in the picture, which marked his final screen appearance. Family strife. Meanwhile, his marriage to Una was by all accounts plagued with outbursts, raging temper, and cruelty towards his children. Genius rewarded. Chaplin's health began to fail him in the late 1960s, just as his life and career were being reevaluated. In 1972, he returned to America to receive his second Academy Award, an honorary Oscar. In an emotionally charged ceremony, he was recognized for the incalculable effect he has had in making motion pictures the art form of this century. Death. Charlie Chaplin died on December 25, 1977 at his home in Switzerland. He was 88, but there was one final and macabre act to be played out in his long and often controversial life. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe for more information. Please do support us.